Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we've got the first book of the Percy Jackson series. This is the Lightning Thief. So this book was definitely different from the film because the book has more detail to what the film has, and it's like completely different to what you know in all it is. So here's the front cover, and here's the bag. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. I never asked to be the son of a Greek god. I was just a normal kid going to school, playing basketball, skateboarding, the usual, until I accidentally vaporized my math teacher. Now I spend my time battling monsters and generally trying to stay alive. This is one where Zeus, god of the sky, thinks I have stolen his lightning bolt, and making Zeus angry is a very bad idea. Well, half boy, half god, we're all hero. So here's a little introduction. Percy Jackson thinks he's just a bad kid with learning disabilities and ADHD, until he learns that he's the son of the Poseidon, the god of the sea. He gets to Camp Half-Blood, a safe place for monsters where he meets other demigods. But he soon finds out that Zeus' master bolt has been stolen, and he's the top suspect. To get rid of his execution, he goes on a dangerous quest filled with methodical monsters to find the true thief in order to avoid a war between the gods. So this book was definitely, creative, suspenseful storyline, touching all characters. So we meet Percy Jackson, a hero destined to save the world but doesn't know how to, Annabelle Chase, a wise and courageous demigod, and Grover Underwood, a troubled satyr who just wants to have some fun. When he started reading this book, I couldn't put it down until I finished it. So the imaginary story takes place in a world where modern day and ancient Greek mythology are mixed together in a hilarious chain of events. By reading this, the author teaches us theories of Greek myths and legends without us realising it. The text is written teen language adding to the entertainment. So I love mythology. It's so cool. I enjoyed Lore, the Alexander Bracken book, and I really enjoyed that. Anything that's kind of mythology into it, I'm a big fan of, and I want to read more. The tale also has a touch of mysterious mystery, letting us solve riddles in a race against the book's characters. I recommend this book to anyone who enjoys fantasy, adventure, thriller, and genre. It's written for teenagers, but definitely not limited to teenagers. The only drawback I think of this is at some point events got repetitive, that there are also multiple series in the universe as the pleasure of the reader of the other books are prolonged. So the book is very interesting to read. Like I said, I'm so big fan of reading this. The first time reading it, and I was intrigued because I was like, I like Percy Jackson the movies, but I've never read the books. Interesting to me. I've gone and read it. So for this, yes, I know I didn't explain much about it, but everyone knows about Percy Jackson by now, and I am putting the other 4 books into one series. So let's just get to the next book. Peace. Bye. My screen's moving. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we got the second book in the Percy Jackson series, and this is the Sea of Monsters. So this book was like a little small book, so I got this read in one day. So again, the book to the movie is completely different. I wish they did the movies for the other 3 books because I would like to see how they interested to those. Tidmore. So this is the front cover. Do it all, and here we have the back. You can't tell by looking at me that my dad is Poseidon, god of the sea. It's not easy being a half-blood these days. Even a simple game of dodgeball can turn into a death match against an ugly gang of cannibal giants, and that's just the beginning. Now Camp Half-Blood is under attack, and unless I can get my hands on the golden fleece, the whole camp will be invaded by monsters, big ones. These are like more adventures going through, and it's so good to read. So Percy Jackson and the Sea Monsters is the second book to the Olympian series. Anticipating to follow up to the Lightning Thief, sees Percy Jackson once again joining his friends to fight not just for the sake of Camp Half-Blood, but also the safety of the world. This time around, Percy teams up with Annabeth, Clarissa, and Tyson on a journey across the Sea of Monsters to retrieve a legendary golden and rescue his best friend Grover from the clutch of an evil Cyclops. Meanwhile, Luke continues his opposition to the gods and Olympus by hijacking a ship and recruiting evil creatures to join his crusade. So remember him, he's the one who stole the lightning bolt. and he's such an ass. At first you're like, oh, he's really cute and all this, and then he's like, oof, here, have this, I'm a bad guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. So the story starts off in New York, with Percy back living with his mother, getting ready to finish school and return to Camp Half-Blood. After a crazy taxi ride from New York and arriving to find an unstable camp, the foursome set off to the sea, camping an aquatic fit to Poseidon's son. For here, the rest of the story is spent exploring the Sea of the Monsters, where the author weaves Greek mythology into the world seamlessly, building on an already established environment in a fantastical yet completely believable way. Moving the story away from the camp and New York was a perfect choice for the second book, allowing us to further delve into the world that the author has slowly woven together. The great plot, but the Sea of Monsters blows out of all the water. Pun not intended. So for having open seas where Percy is having a wild nightmare about kidnapping a dragged queen satyr to destruction to the obscure gym in a game of dodgeball with giant monsters. So the author has clearly updated the editor of notable improvements in action sequence, plots and pacing. The shadow battles at the camp where we also welcome addition, introducing an element of danger to place where the previous safe and protected. So Percy Jackson is no longer the doe-eyed teenager we first met in the Lightning Thief. He's filled with a lot more confident. He's starting to understand the importance of position and heritage. The constant reminder of his daddy issues add depth to intrigue the unveiling of his character. So the relationship between Annabeth and Percy intensifies in this book, especially in chapter 13, titled Annabeth Tries to Swim Home, but the author makes it feel more real and natural this time around, building this concept of the first book. So Grover is not featured this much in this book, as previous one mostly being due to be kidnapped. However, he does provide much needed comic relief after waves and waves of action. One of the new additions to the cast is Tyson, son of Cyclops and half-brother to Percy. Tyson is not only to stand as an asset of this journey, but he also shapes the book's main message and affecting whether people, no matter who or what they are. So it's definitely something different that you could read from a book, and it was just intriguing to read more and more about knowing how this book will turn out too. So that was it. Thank you guys for watching, and next up we have the next book. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Bye. That was out of frame. So here you go, guys. Here's the third book of the series. This is the Titan's Curse. So here is the front cover. We have the Pegasus on map, and then we have this. Not every day you find yourself in a combat with a half lion or half human, but when you're assigned the Greek god, it happens, and now my friend Annabeth is missing. A goddess is in change, and only 5 half-blooded heroes can join the quest to defeat the Doomsday monster. And guess what? The old girl has predicted that not all of us will survive. That is a heartbreak. Definitely. So in this third installment of the book series are revealed and Dark Evil rises. It's the last Friday before the winter holidays, but Percy Jackson isn't at school. He's battling the fearsome Manticore, half human, half lion, which itself isn't ideal. But the Annabeth missing, and the goddess of the hunt held captive, things get a whole lot more serious. The time the story can feel it is dragging a little more some of the young readers' attention, a bit wavy. This is similar to the second book, as Percy Jackson receives an urgent distress call from Grover, brings his demigod friends Annabelle, Talia, and his mother along to the ride. At the confrontation of the monsters, they discover 2 new demigods with a mysterious past with no clue as to who they descended from. As they never escape, they discover the hunters of Artemis, and their goddess herself is missing. Stolen by a monster, so evil is threatening the very existence of Olympus. If that wasn't enough, they also taken Annabeth, just to make more hunt more personal. Along the way, they must face their fears and shady past that comes back to haunt some of Olympus' favourite characters. Titan's Curse is the prison of Azkaban type of story, which is so good. The story where everything starts to weave together and they see deeper into the characters. There's a particularly true with Percy, who previously made rash and unjustified decision without considering the consequences. So in this book we see mature Percy, who considers that his actions will affect others in his group, and Cronus attempts to bring down Olympus. The story of Mr. D provides incredible insight where he is so negative and indifferent to the camp breeding new heroes. Although this edition does add to some pacing issues, stories-wise it certainly does add to overall a character development. Annabeth and Percy both confront and acknowledge their feelings for each other, and this is a great lead to the relationship of their book, the future book of the series. So apart from telling what a great story, we also meet some new gods and goddesses up and close, this time with Aphrodite, Apollo, and of course Artemis. The combination of Greek mythology and the author superb storytelling once again came together to create a compelling and welcome addition to the Percy Jackson series. So adding layers of the character development and incorporating backstories have helped the Olympian saga perfectly in so. And literally the book is just amazing to read. I was like, I'm not going to be, I don't know how I'm going to feel about the book. You know what? I love the book. The book was interesting to read and I'm happy with it. Next up, we're going to have the next book of the series. And we're almost there, guys. That's just so loud. Wait, I read a lot in these days because these are like short books. Short books with tiny writing, but you can get them easily done with. So I know I'm not talking much about them, but then again, it's going to be in a big video with all of them. So there we go. Peace. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have the 4th book in the Percy Jackson series, and this is the Battle of the Labyrinth. This is what the front cover looks like. Fiery battle shield and stuff like that. And then we have the bag. Honestly, blowing up another school was the last thing I wanted to do. As a son of a Greek god, I had my share of the near-death disaster, and now my arch-enemy Luke wants to invade our camp with an ancient labyrinth. If he succeeds, thousands of bloodthirsty monsters will attack. So it's goodbye sunshine, hello darkness, as 4 of us descend into the terrifying underground and beyond. Like I said, they should make the rest of these into movies, because I would like to find out about the 3rd one, about Annabeth going missing, this one of a labyrinth, and the last one of the Last Olympian. I'm so intrigued to see what comes out of them, because you want to know what's going on with them. So hopefully they make them the rest of the story, because I want to know more about them, don't you? So this book is about 3 people who go into the ancient labyrinth. They are trying to find the center of the labyrinth where Daedalus works. Daedalus, I can't say that one, because they want to talk to him on how to navigate through the labyrinth. They need to do so they can stop the evil enemies, Luke, Cronus, and their army of monsters, from finding Adrenus' string and navigating through the labyrinth to destroy Camp Half-Blood and then the Olympians. This book you should read because it's funny and scary, but makes you want to read it more. My favourite character was Grover, a centaur, because he's really funny, and his long life dream, the same as all other centaurs, is to find the wild god Pan that was believed to have died long ago. If I was rating this book, I would give it a 9 out of 10. The advice I would give I think you should read this book because it's funny and scary moments, but it just really gave me shivers down the spine. I was like, oh, interesting. And why do I do all this myself? So the book was definitely different from what the other 3 books I have read. This one was given a bit more chilled, like to me, basically of knowing what's going to happen next, what's going on with it, and why. But it was definitely different to knowing that you know that it's going to be there and you know that something else is going to happen to the story, but you want to continue reading. So I'll be sitting there and be like, oh, okay, here's this, how's this going? So Percy Jackson, half mortal, half Greek, known as his demigod, several for their unusual heritage. Now the game begins badly for Percy. It discovers the cheerleaders of the new school as she-demons called Emperors. Their appearance proved that Cronus, the leader of the Titans, who the god cut into pieces, is rapidly reforming. Cronus is recruiting monsters and half-bloods to battle the Olympian black gods. Percy and his half-blood find Annabeth return to the camp to warn others. Percy meets the mysterious new sword instructor, Quintus. He learns that his best friend Grover has run out of time to save Pan, the missing god of the wild. Annabeth has a theory, since they can't find Pan above the ground. Maybe he's trapped underneath into the labyrinth created by the ancient genius Daedalus. The expansive maze is supposed to contain dangerous illusions and insanity causing traps. When Percy and Annabeth find a portal to the labyrinth on the camped island, they convince Cronus and his army will attack through it. With Grover and Tyson and Percy's side stepbrother, they enter the labyrinth in search of Daedalus. They want to ask him for the Adrenus string, the only tool which will safely navigate the labyrinth. Meanwhile, Percy dreams about Nico, son of Hades. Nico blames the death of his sister Bianca on Percy and seeks revenge. The spirit of King Minos and the spirit of King Minos, with his own vendetta against Delos, assists Nico. In the Labyrinth, the group saves the hundred-handed one from one of the Cronus monsters, gets advice from the goddess Hera, and stops a three-bodied creature named Geroi for mistreating scared sacred cattle. They find Nico and help him summon Bianca's spirit. Bianca urges Nico to forgive Percy. They visit the god Hephaestus, who says he'll lead them to Daphne if they investigate what has invaded his workshop beneath Mount St. Helens. Grover and Tyson search for Pan while Percy and Annabeth enter the volcano and finds creatures called Telehiknis. So Percy blasts out of the volcano and lands on Calipus's island, where she nurses him back to health. So I can't say his name, helps Percy get back to camp, where he walks into his own funeral. Annabeth, pleased to find that Percy is alive, tells him that Quintus has disappeared. Percy enlists help from Rachel, Elizabeth Dare, a mortal from the last book, because she says that she can guide them to who's actually Quintus. They beg Delos to help them, but he's ready, giving a string to the Titan army. Nico arrives to save them from approaching King Minos. Once reunited, Grover and Tyson, the group finds Pan. Pan is dying because humans no longer cherish the wild. He tells Grover and the others they must carry on his measure when he dies. The kid returns to camp and joins the other half-bloods in battling the Titan forces. Dudley's and 100-hand one shows up to help ensure victory. Back at Percy's home, Poseidon appears at Percy's birthday celebration. He tells Percy, "You're my favourite son." Nico arrives later and tells Percy that he knows that he can beat the army for good. That was something different to a book that you normally would get to read, and that, for some reason, most of the books give me chills, but these Percy Jackson ones, it's the light of the day, you don't expect them to get them what you grab. So we're going to go into the last and final book, guys. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Bye. Well, hello guys, welcome back to the last and final series of this book, the Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian. So here's a fun cover with Percy in the front with the knight sword and the shield. And then on the back we have, most people get presents on their 16th birthday, and I get a prophecy that could save or destroy the world. It happens when the son of Poseidon, god of the sea. According to an ancient prophecy, I turn 16 and the fate of the tired world is on me. But no pressure. Now Cronus, Lord of the Titans, is beginning his attack on New York City, and the dreaded monster of a typhon is also heading our way. So it's me, 40, and 40 of my demigod friends versus untold evil. I love how the sass is in it, like how there's more of the sass into it, stuff like that. Oh, wait. And the scene, like I said, there was more feel like there is sass to it, because just reading each book you have the laughter, the scariness, the some of them just because what they do is something there, but it's definitely intense to read, but it's kind of fun to read at the same time. You just want to get through the book to find out what happens next. That's what I definitely did. It's something you wouldn't normally would read to everyone else, so it's definitely different. Sorry if you hear anything in the background. I have to try and film these in a bit quiet, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so all the year of the Half-Bloods have preparing the battle against the Titans, knowing the odd victory or grim. Cronus' army is stronger than ever, with every god and half-blood he recruits. The evil Titan's power only grows. When the Olympians struggle to contain the rampaging monster Typhon, Cronus begins his advance on New York City, where Mount Olympus stands virtually unguarded. Now it's up to Percy Jackson and an army of young demigods to stop the Lord of Time. This monumental final book in this Percy Jackson series, the long-awaited prophecy surrounding Percy's 16th birthday unfolds as the battle for Western civilization rages on the city of Manhattan. So Percy faces a terrifying suspicion that he may fight against his own fate. Ooh. So when I started this series, I thought I was really excited to read it, because I was like, I haven't read this book in a while. And one of the things I love so much about this series, each one builds up to an ultimate and dramatic showdown for the soul of Olympus. So in this book, they find that fellow half-bloods and demigods are posed for battle against Cronus, who now inhabits Luke's body, and the Titans and the half-bloods are demons who is rallied to cause. Cronus will stop at nothing to dethrone his children, the god Olympus, and with Poseidon's preoccupied with the battle in the realm of the seas, Zeus and the other major gods fighting the formidable Typhon in the Midwest. It is up to Percy and the remaining students of Camp Half-Blood to protect Olympus, that is, in the island of Manhattan, in particular the Empire State, but from Cronus' advancing army. Making things even more complicated in the fact that Percy is just shy of his 16th birthday, the date when the prophecy said that it laboured so hard to keep Percy from being a filtration. A single choice made by a child of big three gods, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, will save Olympus, or destroy it. For Percy, keeping his friends and family alive, his city safe, and the gods in the power so small feat, and the weight of this terrible prophecy on his shoulders. The stakes are higher than ever. It's up to Percy and his friends Annabeth, Grover, Talia, Nico, Rachel Dare, and Clarissa to rally the demigods and hold Olympus. The fate of the heroes in the Western world just depends on it. I'm so glad I finally read this because it's just something you get to read once in a while, and I'm actually really glad that I finally managed to get to read this book, because I've been trying my best to actually read it, and that I totally thought I actually put it away in a box. Totally forgot I even had the books until I was unpacking some bits just to go through some bits, and I found the books and I was like, ooh, I need to read these. So yes, the 5 books of the Percy Jackson series were really interesting in reading. If you want let me know if you want me to read the other series of the whole Riordan's series that he has going on with his different books, and let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, bye.